Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're back in RaceRoom Racing Experience and we're looking for some more hidden gems. Today specifically the cars. We have 5 more hidden gems for you to discover in this video. So let's jump in with number 1 right now. Okay, the first car that we're looking at in our hidden gem series for RaceRoom is actually rather obvious. It's this, the NSU TTS. Now, why is this a top 5 hidden gem? Well, you may wonder that because it is often frequently used in the ranked servers on RaceRoom, so you'll see it as a popular choice of car for people to drive online. But the reason it's in this list is because on the face of it, if you were new to the game, you would look at it and think, I'm not going to drive that, it's a hideous looking thing. It's not the most appealing looking of race car, it's a little bit unique, and maybe not to everybody's liking or taste. But you really should give it a go, and I'm going to give you some reasons why. First of all, this little car, this is very small, it's only kind of a mini size, but it's rear-wheel drive, which makes it quite a lot of fun. And there's enough power from the 4-cylinder inline engine, which is twin-carbed and air-cooled, and it makes a fantastic noise. It's only got 4 gears, but there's enough fun to be had with this little car. Especially on shorter, tighter circuits where it can really let its handling do the talking. It gets a little bit lost when you take it to circuits such as Monza or maybe even Spa for that kind of matter. But as pure driving is concerned, this thing is just an absolute blast. You can just chuck it into all the corners, and it's got enough power to get the rear end out because it is rear-wheel drive obviously, so it will slide if you try and brake traction a little bit easier. Easy to lock up as well by the sounds of things, but it's okay. But on the changes of direction, it is so much fun, and racing these cars online always makes for a very entertaining race. The racing is close and pretty competitive as well. But it is just an incredibly fun car to drive, and it really should be tried. If you haven't done already, you really do need to give this little car a go. But as far as the driving feel is concerned, again, good force feedback with the new force feedback model which has been implemented in RaceRoom. Oops, see, I'm going for 5th gear when it actually doesn't exist. But you can feel all the bumps as you're driving around. The car itself, you can feel the weight of it as it shifts one side to the other through the transitional corners that we're on here. But just absolutely epic fun to drive, and even more fun to race. So, what other hidden gems are there in RaceRoom Racing Experience? Okay, so car number 2 on our list of hidden gems is this one, the KTM Crossbow RR. Now this is the lightweight version of the KTM Crossbow, and again you may be wondering why is this car on our list of hidden gems, because it's quite a well-known car and a lot of people know all about the Crossbow. But the reason it's on our list is because it's quite easy to overlook this particular car in RaceRoom. A lot of people may well jump into RaceRoom and head straight towards the GT3 cars or the touring cars or whatever it may be that they particularly prefer driving. And this little Crossbow in a single class championship of its own may well get a bit overlooked, and that's a real shame because this car is so good. Now we've had the Crossbow in other titles before, so Assetto Corsa's got it, and there's variants of the Crossbow in the other sims out there, albeit maybe in GT4 specification. But this particular car is just so good. Manual gearbox, rear-wheel drive, 4-cylinder engine, and super lightweight, which means you have a pretty good power-to-weight ratio with its 360 brake horsepower on tap. But what does make this car so interesting to drive is the fact that everything is visible and on show. So you can see, we've obviously got an open cockpit in front of us here. You can see the front left wheel moving around and steering into all the corners. But you can also see the top of the suspension arm through the bodywork. So as you're going over all these bumps, you can watch it moving around. But probably best to try and shift to third gear on the downshifts because that's probably a bit more important. But at the same time, it's just so cool just watching the car do its thing. But not just that, it's the driving experience, driving the KTM, that makes it really, really fun. So it's obviously really nicely balanced. It's essentially a bit of a track day toy. It's a road car which you can take on the road, but it's not the most practical of cars to take down to the shops. It really is more geared towards taking it to a track and giving it absolute death. But at the same time, it's just so good. When you turn the car into a corner, the front end has so much bite to it, and it goes exactly where you want it to, even if you still are missing third gear on the downshift. It's a hard one to do. You've got to make sure you give it plenty of revs on the blipping. Otherwise you're just shifting neutral and you just can't get out of it again. So, something to watch out for. But at the same time, driving this car, you really got to be on your toes because it kind of demands that from you because it's quite lively if it wants to. You've got to be on the ball trying to keep this thing under control. And as you can see, we're going around Imola here at a reasonable pace. There you go, there's the rear end who's trying to come out and just let me know I'm getting a little bit close to that limit. But at the same time, you can control it quite nicely and there's no major dramas. A little bit tricky over the bumps, but what race car isn't particularly tricky over the bumps? But this car, it really is worth driving, so if you haven't tried it, give it a go. And of course, as with all cars on RaceRoom, you can give them a test drive before you buy them. So jump in it, in the shop, take it for a few laps of your favourite circuit that's available to do that on, and just give it a try and see what you think. And I reckon you would be suitably impressed with just how good this car is to drive on track. But anyway, what else have we got? 3 more to go. What other surprises do we have in store in RaceRoom? Okay, so the third car on our list is this one. We're in the DTM 1992 class, and specifically the Ford Mustang DTM 1992. Now the reason this particular car is on the list is, although the DTM 92 class is very popular, most people will gravitate towards, not the grass, either the Audi or the BMW M3, of course, which is very, very popular, or the Mercedes 190. However, what they won't be maybe going first for their first pick is this, the Ford Mustang. And that's, again, a very big shame because this thing is so good. Now, one, there's that noise. Just magical. Big V8 under the bonnet. It's just sounds so good, and we know RaceRoom sounds are absolutely amazing at the best of times anyway, but this one really is an absolute peach. The other reason why this car is so good is because it's a bit of a brute, really. I mean, you think of a BMW E30 M3 and more often than not you would reckon that that's a fairly nicely balanced, finely poised race car, you know, an absolute thoroughbred where you can just know exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be very predictable and nice to drive. Whereas you jump in this, it feels heavy, it feels a little bit cumbersome, it's got far too much power than it really needs, and it's just an absolute animal to drive, which makes for a very entertaining ride. We're at Zolder here, which for a car like this is actually a little bit of a workout because you've got to manhandle it through some of these corners to get the best out of it. So even there, on that very fast right-hander, it's trying to break away on the rear. Now it may not be the quickest car in the DTM 92 class, but that's not really the point of this car for me. The reason I drive this car is because it is such an experience to drive. The noise obviously plays a huge part of that, but it's actually a really good challenge to try and drive this thing, keep it on the track, and be relatively quick with it as well. We drove this on the channel before when we were doing some ranked races. We drove it around Spa-Francorchamps, which was just amazing. We didn't do particularly well in terms of finishing position, But that really didn't matter for me because I had such a blast driving this thing, which gets right over the crest there. But it really is so good. So if you are a fan of the DTM 92 series cars, and you may not have jumped in this particular car, you may have just stayed with the more popular ones, please give this a go. It is really good. I missed that apex by a country mile. But the steering's heavy. It's just really just amazing driving experience, is all I can say. Great fun. So go check it out. You will not regret this one either. In the meantime, if I can turn myself away from driving this car, I'll get on to car number 4. Okay, so I have stepped away from the Mustang and managed to get myself out of it, because this is car number 4. Now, this is a little bit different, because this is actually a little bit of a fictional car. We are in the Koenigsegg CC GT, which sits within the GT1 category of cars within RaceRoom, which means it's a rather quick GT car. And we're at the Zhuhai circuit in China, because this gives me real GTR 2/GTR Evo feels going on here. So this particular car, obviously we know the Koenigsegg brand, responsible for making ridiculously quick supercars, but this Koenigsegg CC GT was never actually a race car. I think they had intentions of going racing with Koenigsegg CCs, but it never really materialised. So this is the only way we'll get to drive this particular car is in RaceRoom, but it's a good thing it is in RaceRoom because it means we can drive something which is really fun to drive. Now the GT1 cars are very fun to drive anyway, and it includes the likes of the Ford GT, the Nissan GTR and others, and the Celine as well as one of them. But this car is one that you shouldn't overlook either, because it's nicely balanced. Obviously it has a rather nice sounding V8 engine under the engine cover, because I'm not going to say it on the bonnet because the bonnet is not where the engine is in this car, but it's nicely balanced. So chucking it into the first corner here at Zhuhai, going to feed the power in gently, because if you do get a little bit aggressive with the throttle, it can bite you quite easily. Turn 2 is tricky here, up over the curb, but at the same time it has so much grip you can just chuck it in and deal with the oversteer if it comes later. Big bump on the inside there. But the GTR 1 class is the quickest of the GT cars which they have within RaceRoom, so it's obviously faster than GT3 machinery and GT2s obviously. So you've really got to be on your toes driving these things, because things come up at you very quickly indeed. But this car is just, yeah, really nice to drive and well worth giving a go. It's sideways out of there. We've got purple lap times coming up here, which is nice, but what we're all about. This is all about fun and pure driving experience. The force feedback is really good as well, and it's again quite heavy. Obviously you can change that to suit your preferences on how you like your force feedback, but you do get a lot of detail coming through the wheel as to what's going on, especially here at Zhuhai, because there are a few bumps around. The curbs are quite violent if you catch them wrong. You can feel exactly what's going on underneath you, and it means you can be quite accurate with your steering inputs. So bumpy through there. But again, it might not be the most popular car to drive, because again people will gravitate towards the Ford GT or the GTR. That's just what people really like, because they have such a good popular culture behind them. And if you see a Koenigsegg CCGT on here, it might not be your first choice of car to go out and drive. But it's still sat there in the garage saying, come on, give me a go because you will not regret this. It is that cool of a car to drive. So when you start pushing on a little bit more, you have to be a little bit more careful with your inputs because it's easy to drive this car reasonably quickly. To get the most out of it, you've really got to be on your toes. And that makes it a good challenge to drive. So, that's car number 4, the Koenigsegg CC-GT. What's our final hidden gem in the race room? Okay, so our 5th and final hidden gem of RaceRoom Racing Experience, you find us here in a paddock. Now, there's good reason for this. We are in the Carlson 340 SLK Judd-engined hill climb monster. Okay, so hill climbing might not be for everyone's taste, and there are hill climb tracks in RaceRoom, and there's 2 hill climb specific cars in RaceRoom. But that's not to say that this particular hill climb car has to do just hill climbs. We are at the Nordschleife, and this is going to be a wild ride. So here we go. We're at the tourist version of the Nordschleife, and this thing, if you thought the Koenigsegg was fast, this thing is an absolute weapon. It is so ridiculously quick. Obviously built for acceleration, but it also has heaps of downforce, which means you have very short braking distances and high cornering speeds. So let's see if we can tackle the Nordschleife with the Carlson SLK. Now in terms of the hill climb cars which are available, again, most people will probably gravitate towards the Georg Plaza BMW 1 Series, which again is an absolutely fantastic car, but it might mean that they don't really get involved with this particular car. But it's just absolutely mad. You can really just nail the throttle and it'll just pick up and go. Because it's got so much grip, obviously big slick tyres, big aero. Not quite big enough to go through there and flat out, but we managed to go through there still pretty quickly. But you can definitely use this car on regular circuits too, so it's not just the Nordschleife, which is like a extended hill climb. But look at that, you can just pull that up there from massive speed, and then you're straight back on the power and accelerating hard into the next corner. Down through the shady sections downhill here. How quickly do we dare take this next left-hander? Oh, it's just so ridiculous. Don't remember steering the slow stuff there, but I'll just cure that with a bit of right foot, and off we go. So if you really want to test your reaction times, this Carlson DTM, or SLK should I say, is probably the one for you, because you don't have a great deal of time to react to what's coming up in front of you, especially when you get into the tighter sections of the Nordschleife here, for example. But it's got so much corner and grip, you can chuck it in and just have confidence that it's actually going to go where you ask it to go. Yeah, I had it absolutely flat out from the moment I put the power down. There was not a hint of worry from the rear end. And that's not to say that the physics are broken, it's just the fact that it has that much grip. Because it will go sideways if you ask it to, if you are really ridiculously silly with it. But it's just amazing. Amazing machine. And in fact, if anything, on the hill climb tracks, it's even more insane because they're just tight and twisty, and at least here you get some sort of chance to relax. but even though it's got really short gearing, you still have enough top end for long straight sections like this where you're flat out for a lot of the time. Let's see if we know this flat out here. Nope. We had to try, didn't we? But the car itself is so good, and again it's one of those classes which will just get overlooked with the other classes of car which are available within RaceRoom. And they do occasionally have hot lap competitions on RaceRoom using these cars on various circuits, and they're always worth having a go at because it's good fun. But at the same time, it's worth adding to your collection anyway if you haven't got it at the time being, because you can just literally take it anywhere and go very, very quickly. And of course, you've got that lovely Judd V8 in the back, which is an F1 engine. Point and squirt through here at the moment, leaving in third gear and just accelerating hard and braking hard. Missed that one a little bit. Bad line into there, but that's okay. Take off. And then hard on the power once again, little lift. More wheels up action over the top of the crest there. Curbs. So even though I'm driving this not particularly well, it's actually flattering me in terms of how well it's staying on the road. This thing is so fun. And here we go, up towards the bridge to finish our lap of the Nordschleife on the tourist version. Oh. So there we go. It's several minutes of holding your breath. So that concludes our list of hidden gems. Just going to go back out on track again, just because we want to do some more driving in this thing. But that concludes our list of hidden gems in RaceRoom. So hope you enjoyed that. What are your hidden gems? What car do you really like that maybe isn't as popular as some of the other cars in RaceRoom? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your hidden gems. But also, if you like the video, please do hit the like button. That makes a big difference to how the video gets seen, and obviously the channel as well. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, but would like to, please do feel free to hit the red button and subscribe to the channel. Become a sim racing rival teammate, so you become one of us fellow sim racers who love sim racing in all its forms. And it's guaranteed to give you at least half a second lap off your lap times. Guaranteed, not guaranteed, of course. But we really would love you to be a subscriber of the channel, and then of course you get to see more videos that we come to do in the future. So there we have it, our 5 hidden gems in RaceRoom. Hope you enjoyed that. But until next time, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you very soon.